All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. First episode of the 1821 Sports Podcast on YouTube. And I have my guest here today, Cullen. He recently came to the University of Missouri, filmed the video where he got to see the inner workings of the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you
Doing great.
inviting me to chat today.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for coming on. I know you're a busy dude. Kind of mentioned that earlier. I know you're kind of being on the road this week. You're doing a lot of different things. But I love your content. I just started watching actually since the Missouri video came out. Love it. And I
Appreciate
know a
it.
lot of people do. So yeah. So just to kind of start off before I get talking about Mizzou and kind of what you saw out of the program while you were here, kind of what you saw about the town in general. Just talk to me a little bit about kind of like your basketball background and kind of what made you want to get into basketball content.
Yeah, man. So I played basketball in high school. Grew up in Florida. Loved hoops. Loved to talk about it more so than anything. I was a college football player, actually. I was honestly just built
Okay.
more like linebacker than I was a point guard. Loved basketball, but sometimes your body tells you you're better at another sport. Football was my first love growing up. Like that's what I played since I was, 5 years old, playing tackle football. So went to college for that. But realized once I got there, I just really, really enjoy talking about basketball. That's what I'm passionate about. Watch the NBA every night. Like that is my, bread and butter is conversation and talking hoops. So even though I was a football player, decided, hey, I'm gonna make a channel devoted to what I actually enjoy talking about. Don't get me wrong, love football, love talking about it too, but basketball, there's just a lot more stories. So ended up
Hmm.
going in the basketball lane, and it's probably the best decision I could have made.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very fair. It's pretty cool that you played football. So you said what position did you play again?
I was a linebacker coming into college, but ended up being a tight end.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So like Travis Kelsey type dude. I feel you. Feel you.
Yeah,
A little
something
bit,
like
some slight. Yeah, I feel
that.
you. Well, hey man, that's pretty cool. So I believe I was watching up on you. You started your content in around 2022, is that right?
Yeah. I was a senior. I went to Holy Cross up in Massachusetts. I was a senior there and started making videos in my dorm room once football ended. Realized wanted to go kind of sports media route rather than use the economics degree that I had. So started talking.
Yeah, yeah. So was there anything in particular that made you kind of want to get into the sports media? Did you know anyone in college that kind of steered you in that direction, or did you know pretty early on the onset that that was just something you wanted to do?
Yeah, it's kind of from just a young age, right? I'd always been doing graphic design. During COVID, I got like really, when we get sent home from school, got really locked in on actually doing graphics. So I was doing design work for a bunch of different sports leagues and whatnot, and realized I just want to do more. I'd always been making videos. So I was making vines when I was in like middle
Oh
school.
yeah, I
And
remember that
to
time.
make sports edits. It was great.
Yeah,
But once I got to school, I realized, I got this economics degree, taught me a lot of, different things about logical thinking and building out a business. So I might not be using most of the day to day that an econ degree would offer, but I decided that, hey, you know what? Might as well go into do something that I love, go talk and try to figure it out. It wasn't easy. I had a full-time job for a while doing it both, but after, years of grinding, was able to kind of make it work, and here we are today.
yeah, yeah. So I know kind of right now you're kind of full-time content creating more than anything. How do you kind of juggle that schedule you have where you're constantly on the road, you're doing things? Kind of how do you keep up with all of it and manage that?
It can be tough sometimes, especially my girlfriend out in the living room. She
Yeah.
sometimes doesn't love when I'm on the road every single week, but it's all about balance. You got to have. I'm a very routine person, and I think that you look at a lot of successful, especially creators. Routine is a big part. When you live in this kind of weird social media world, there isn't much structure. A lot of stuff kind of happens randomly. Like I'm going to Iowa tomorrow, and I didn't know I was going until I don't know 7 hours ago.
Yeah.
So you just kind of gotta be able to go with the flow, but have structure in the days that you are, at your home, in your office, doing what you do on your daily basis, and then being able to take that structure and put it as best as you can into the road or onto the road while you're filming. But I think the biggest thing also is like anytime we go shoot anywhere, anytime we go to film any sort of videos now, this has been a learning process, but you show up with a deep coordinated plan of exactly what you need to do, and it makes everything a lot easier. Now I still mess it up quite a bit, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair, man. Well, I love the content. I've been watching for just a little bit now, ever since that Missouri video dropped. I remember seeing the notification. I'm like, oh, okay, I can get behind that because that's going to interest me. It's going to interest a lot of different people. So obviously, having you on here because you came to Mizzou, you did a video there, and it was really insightful. Got to learn a lot about the program. I know fans saw different sides of Dennis Gates than we were used to. So the first question I wanted to open up with was kind of what did you see out of Dennis Gates, the head coach, that maybe surprised you, or was there anything that stuck out to you that makes you, you know, have any information for him as a head coach?
Yeah, dude, Gates is the man. So when we go to like a lot of these schools, or I'd say this was the first one where we'd have like a ton of staff interaction. And we've done so many tours now. And you get at the high school level, you get a bunch of coaches that want to be a part of it. But all the college tours we've done so far have been the coaches have been kind of secluded in the background. Obviously, they talk and interact off camera, but this is the first time that, a coach really was cool with actually being involved in the video. I'd say like right when I walked on campus, Coach Gates was one of the first people to greet me. He knew everything there was about my content, everything about me. It made me feel like right at home. A lot of the times when you go from school to school or, event to event, you can kind of feel like you're kind of pushed off, more so being a fly on the wall than anything. With Coach Gates, it was like literally I was part of the family within 5 minutes. I pitched him the idea for what I wanted to do in the video, and he was like, "Let's do it, whatever you need." Couldn't say enough positive words about him, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's kind of what Missouri fans get when they think of Dennis Gates. Now, he's very different in press conferences. He tends to, in my opinion, and some others' opinions, not show kind of that true personality that he has. And in the video, you saw kind of a sternness level that you haven't seen out of him many times. So that was really interesting. Another question for you, though, when you did your speech, I thought it was wonderful. Thought it was great. I'm like, dang, this guy could be on the coaching staff right now. But kind of
Thank
were
you, man.
you I know that was kind of the video idea for you, but when it all came to reality, when you're kind of talking to those guys, do you get a little nervous even though it's a video or
Oh yeah, no, that was like all real. He literally told me like 5 minutes before. He's like, because I had pitched to him like, "Oh, I want to be act like I'm a coach for a day," and he's like, "Oh, we can make that happen. Let's do it. I'll bring you into everything. We'll show you the ins and outs." So he's super like welcoming in that sense. But I didn't know how to give a speech, so literally we were sitting in the coaches meeting. It was like 10 o'clock. Practice started at 10:05, and he's like, "Cullen, Coach All Hail, you're giving a speech out there. You're gonna be the last one to address the team.
oh
You got something to
man.
say?" Of course, I got to be like, yeah, I'm confident. No, I was actually nervous. I didn't know what I was going to say. Luckily though, been doing videos for a long time, writing thousands upon thousands of scripts. So once you kind of get an idea, I can kind of talk just to anyone forever now, which it hasn't always been like that, but it kind of been able to learn to
Yeah.
public speak way. So I was just like, the strength coach told me to be authentic. Coach Conity, awesome guy. He was like, "Yeah,
Yep.
man, you just gotta be authentic. Say, whatever you're thinking right now, just go out there and say it. The guys will relate. Just don't try to be someone you're not." So walked out and it's like, dang, I can't tell these guys. I'm a football guy. I can't tell these dudes anything X's and O's wise. But what I can tell them is what I've learned about different programs we've seen and different programs we've been to. I tell stories, so I was like, all right, what is your guys' story? And I felt like that was the most authentic way to go. But yeah, no, I was nervous for sure.
Yeah.
But once you get out there, also the team is great. Every guy was like super cool to be around. Everybody on their roster like felt like it was just a group of your boys. Like they were messing around, we
Yeah.
were having a good time. I hadn't met any of them yet, those before I started talking, so that was kind of funny. But yeah, no, it was nerve-wracking, but I think it was good. It went well.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So just to ask this, I know that you were around the team for not too long, so you might not be able to speak on it super in depth, but kind of you've been to different schools. I know that you went to Florida recently as well. Can you kind of speak to the culture that Missouri has? And if you could, break it down in a couple sentences, how would you define Missouri's culture to be right now?
I do think it's a lot different than a lot of places I've been. something that defines their program that I noticed was they have the most returning players in the SEC. So I think they have 7 guys coming back this year. Every other school we've been to, you go to the locker room, there's barely any name tags left on the lockers.
Yep.
Missouri, everybody wanted to come back. And so off camera, I asked a lot of the players. I didn't put a ton of the player interviews in just because it was more like personal conversations to kind of get an understanding of where I was at. But all the players were like, man, we came back because of Coach Gates. It feels like family here. They are very oriented on like every person on the team is like they're friends. Like, you have a lot of teams that you go into where you could tell there's cliques between the players. Not everybody gets along all the time. These guys were doing everything together. And when we're sitting in the staff meeting, something that was unique was they were not only planning out practice, but they're also planning out activities for the guys to do together for the rest of the month. They were talking about going to cookouts, having a night where they all go play pool, doing a bunch of different things that Coach Gates was facilitating, which usually it's like, an assistant or kind of like a team manager in a way that's, setting up a barbecue for the guys after. It was Gates. He was like, all right, so we want these guys to be fed. We want them to have a good time. He was like, all right, I want them to come to my house. I'll get them all. Like, we'll get an ice cream truck to come out. Like, he was setting up all kinds of things. And the more and more I talked to the guys, I realized that what made their team special and what I think is going to make them a great, force to be reckoned with in the SEC this year was that like these dudes really like each other. These dudes are really boys. And when it comes down to, a game where it's a one-shot game, 2 minutes left on the clock, you're gonna be able to trust the guy next to you if have spent all this time with them off the court. So I think that's kind of how I define it is, they're a tight-knit family, tight-knit group, and it's all, stems down from their head coach.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, thinking back, 2 years ago, I mean, obviously Missouri last year had a really good year. But even the year before that, they went 0-18 in the SEC. And then, yeah, Caleb Grill, Tamar Bates stayed your two most important players. So it's been described as kind of a family-like culture from a lot of people. So I'm glad you caught on to that. Um, Kind of another thing for you. I know that you got to see the facilities a little bit. Mizzou Arena is still relatively newish. It was built in 2003, so it's definitely getting on the higher side of things. But kind of talk to me about how you thought the facilities looked like. I know that we've kind of revamped the locker room recently. What were your impressions of the facilities? Maybe not even in comparison to other SEC schools, but just overall.
Overall, I think the thing that stood out to me the most was everything is right next to each other. So where you play, your
Mm,
locker room, where the guys eat, where they work out, where they practice was all within like you could see everything from one spot. A lot of schools have, their arena is across campus, their practice centers on the other side, their training facilities over here. I really liked how everything was literally within 10 steps of each other. I think that, gives them a good advantage when it comes down to home games to where they get to practice on their game court every single day. They want to go take shots at midnight, they can go take shots on their game court. That is a big asset that not a ton of teams, especially the SEC schools we've been to, have to where everything is completely separated, a separate building from their arena. So I thought that was super cool. In terms of the actual building, like yeah, you could tell it's still like the renovations to the basketball facility itself was beautiful. I love branding. I'm a big branding guy. They have
mhm.
branded lights literally everywhere. It's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah,
I don't know how much money they're putting into LED lights, but
too
if you look
much.
at my you look
Too
at my
much.
room here, I got a lot.
Yeah,
So it's right up my speed. Locker room was super cool. Very clean. It's kind of weird. I think Gates said it. I think I put in the actual video. He was like, "Yeah, we take pride in like making this a very clean space."
I think
I've been
he
to a lot of
did.
locker
Yeah,
rooms that are hot and smell bad. That one, like weird.
yeah,
This is gonna sound hot. It smelled good. It smelled really good in there. So I think that was something that definitely stood out. And then, yeah, I'd say like, the actual campus we got to ride around. I didn't see too much of it, but from an arena perspective, it definitely stands tall with, some of the best I've seen so far.
yeah, yeah, dude, that's awesome. I mean, if there's one point for Mizzou fans to take out of that, just know the arena smells good, and we can hold on tight to that.
The locker room is
So,
clean. I can
yep,
guarantee you that.
yep. No, I can certainly tell you right now, being in the student section when there's 15,000 people, it does not smell good. But that's pretty cool to know. So really one of the last things I wanted to ask you, and if you have to take time to think about this, that's perfectly fine. I know you got to watch some scrimmages, and Missouri fans, there's a lot of returning players, but there's also a lot of transfer portal guys coming in that fans are pretty excited about. You got Sebastian Mack from UCLA, you got the Javon Porter from Loyola Marymount. I mean, guys are coming in droves in the transfer portal. That's kind of how college basketball is nowadays, college sports in general. If you had to have three guys that overall impressed you watching those scrimmages, kind of break it down for us.
I think Aaron Rose is the fastest man I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
He moves like at a I've seen like his clips. So I think he spent a year at Link Academy. We did video out there. So
Hmm.
I've seen him play. Yeah, that dude, he is like it doesn't even look human when he gets off that first step. So that was pretty wild. Um, I'd seen Trent Burns a couple years ago. Um, when he was, I don't know, probably 40 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
He looked big. I was shocked. He looked big. You know, I think a lot of people saw him when he played with Rod Wave Elite a few years back with Cam
Hmm.
Wilder and them. Uh, he's a different guy now. He's a man now. He looks massive. And their strength coach, talked a good bit about that, about how his transformation and what they've been doing to kind of push that forward. So I really like him. I think he's gonna be a great player, but I do think the size that he's put on is gonna help him a ton. And then another guy that just stood out, I think, was T.O. His like size. He is
Yeah.
he gets
He's
down low, like
huge. Yeah.
he is a body down there. Dudes were bouncing
Yeah.
off of him when he was getting to the rack. We talked to him for a while after. He's a really good dude. But yeah, the physicality that he plays with, man, his shoulders, like you get in close to him, you're getting bounced off, and he had some really acrobatic finishes around the rim. I only got to watch, one practice, but I'd say those three were like I took away, and I was like, oh, okay, like
Yeah.
these guys, they might be hitting a different level here. But yeah, Rowe, I don't know how, dude, I don't know how he's like a real person.
I Nobody knows. I mean, have you seen the clips of him throwing down East Bays and 360s? He's like
Oh yeah,
6'1". I mean, I don't understand it at
dude.
all.
He
But
floats and he moves so fast. Like everything is so fast. It's crazy.
yeah, I went to Battle High School here in Columbia, and I watched Aaron Rowe drop about 25 in his freshman year on us. So he's been a
I
dog
don't
ever since he was younger. I heard his name in eighth grade and never forgot about
know.
it, and now he's here. So it's kind of crazy. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a winner. He's crazy, man.
yeah, I know those are three guys that I've been personally excited about. I've heard a lot of people kind of garner a lot of hype on T.O. specifically. I know a lot of people talk about Anthony Robinson. Anthony Robinson has the potential to take another leap. I mean, I know that he was in mock drafts at times last year. So he's a big guy that I've been watching out for. Um, but overall, yeah, that's pretty insightful, man. I'm glad that you could kind of speak to that. I was very jealous. I was like, man, I would kill to watch a Mizzou scrimmage right now just to see what the team kind of looks like. So
Yeah,
that
I
was
hope you
pretty
guys
cool.
get to, you go check out the full video. You can see, I think it's important to see how Coach Gates interacts with the team. We left in some action clips from practice and whatnot, but the way that he coaches them, he's very personal and
Mhm.
like he really knows these guys and they really relate to that. It creates like a good balance between like, yeah, he's their buddy, but he still has a strong lead on this team. And you could tell with the intensity that these dudes were playing with. It was, I don't know, I think I went on what, a Thursday. It was like their last day before they're going home for summer break, for like that week.
Yeah.
Dudes were on the floor, diving, loose balls,
Wow.
screaming. It's loud in there. Dudes were hustling. And somebody that was, had their hand in the dirt playing football, that's something I can get behind. This is when teams are out there and they're in practice and they're getting down and dirty. So, um,
Yeah.
if you can take away one thing from that video when you guys go and watch it, you see the practice is make sure you pay attention to Gates' relationship with the guys because that is something that, you don't see a lot of places.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't plan to ask you this, but that answer kind of made me think of something. If you had to compare Dennis Gates to one coach that you've been around in the college basketball scene, is there anybody that comes to mind in terms of a comparison?
Oh gosh. I don't know, man. I don't know. To be completely honest with you, I haven't done a ton with head coaches. We've done a bunch of stuff with people within staffs, athletic directors, and whatnot. We
Yeah.
don't have a ton of, I haven't had a ton of like direct interaction with other head coaches. Um, so I wouldn't be able to answer that in the best way possible. Hopefully, we'll come
Yeah.
back in like 6 months after we do a few more tours and I can give you a better answer. But all I
Okay.
can say about him was that, man, it was awesome to be around him. The stories that this guy had from coaching camps in Chicago next to Michael Jordan. Like if you ever want just good stories, just ask about any of the pictures on the wall in front of his office. Dude's got you on lock. It was a great time, and
Yeah.
he definitely made me feel like I was a part of the Mizzou family for a day.
Dude, yeah, that's awesome. I know you were talking about it in your video. You were asking kind of questions about what the fan base is going to be like this year, kind of what it's like normally. When are you going to come to Mizzou Arena this year to watch a game and experience that firsthand?
I think we're gonna have to. I had a great time out there. I made a promise to the guys. I don't think I left that portion in, but after practice, I told all of them, like, when you guys are dancing this year, we'll be there to cover it. So we're
Yep.
gonna have to come back when they make the tournament. We'll be there. We'll be with them wherever they end up for that first round game. We'll be there. But we do. I gotta. One thing I need is to come and check out a football basketball weekend where we can get some
Oh
SEC
yeah.
football at home and then get a basketball game the very next day. Feel like that's got to be a crazy atmosphere in Columbia, especially with everything of the success from both teams right now. I think that might be the duo and your guys' GM, Tim
Yep.
Fuller, the beast.
I've
So
heard he's good. I've
we'll
heard
get
he's
that
good.
set
I
up.
mean, they just got Jason Crow Jr., so he's got to be good.
You guys are in
But
good hands. Just say that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I wish basketball started sooner because you mentioned that, and I'm like, well, Missouri plays a team that shall not be named in football in week two, their most bitter rival. And then if basketball was that weekend as well, that'd be the perfect time. But unfortunately, that can't work the way that it needs to. But yeah, I mean, I wish we had Kansas
I've
at
heard.
home, but not this year. Not this year.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
well,
I've heard a lot of things. I've heard a lot of things about the rivalry, and maybe we'll have to come when they one of these days to see it in live action. I've heard there's some songs that can't be played anymore.
nope.
A whole bunch of stuff going on.
Yep. I think the DJ at Mizzou got in pretty big trouble for playing Mr. Brightside one too many times.
I
But
think you should just play it. Just keep playing
I
it.
think we should. We used to play neck as well, like LSU did, and then that stopped pretty quick. So yeah. But well, thanks for coming on. Kind of tell us a little bit more just about where people can follow you, where they can watch your videos. I'll make sure to put links obviously as well, but your content's great. More people should watch it.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, on YouTube, All Hail Cullen. We do tours, day in the lives. Done videos with some of the top players in the nation. Video with your guys' number one point guard commit is on the way. It'll be shot in September. So hopefully get you guys excited a little bit for the basketball season when we're out there with them. Gonna be in LA alongside them. So
Oh, nice.
be on the lookout for that. That'll be a good one. But we've got some great stuff coming up. We're gonna go film in Iowa. We got a video that we filmed in Canada a couple months ago that's dropping on Sunday. Spire Academy, we got a video coming up with a couple more universities, and we got a six series that we've been in the works for a few months now that should start also in September. So gonna be a great
Okay.
time. All Hail Cullen on YouTube, All Hail B-Ball and everything else. Just hit 1 million on TikTok, so
I
let's get
did see
running.
that. That's pretty sick. Congratulations on that, by the way. I was like, wow, like
Appreciate it, man.
that's really cool. But well, thanks for coming
Fun.
on again. Really appreciate you. I hope that the Iowa videos go well. Hopefully you make it safe. I know you're always driving. It's not always fun. So hoping you make it there
Yes, sir.
safe and hopefully that all goes well. But appreciate you and your time, Colin. Thanks for filming this with me. And I'm hoping that a lot of people can check in on your content, get to know you better, and just support you through that. So yeah.
Yes, sir, man. All right, bro. It was nice meeting you. Take it easy.
MIZ. Yeah, no problem.
Peace.
No problem. Have a good one.